What's going on, boys and girls? Yeah, I got me a haircut. From the last couple of times you've seen me make these videos, I had a big old afro. Call it a TWA, a teeny weeny afro. Um, but I got my haircut finally. Barbershops are back open again due to this COVID-19, and we won't even go into that. But my receptionist was talking about butter beans today, and I hadn't had any good butter beans. And I think my mom was talking about butter beans last time I talked to her on the phone. So I said, I'm going to make some butter beans and I'm going to record and see how you guys like it. I know they're going to come out good because they just do. And this is just stuff that I have sitting around in the house. I'm not going out to get anything special to put in these beans, just seasoning, some pork fat, and some goodness. Just watch us. Alrighty, so I didn't go out and get nothing real special. I was looking for some dried butter beans, but I found some of these frozen butter beans there. We got a couple of stalks, 3 stalks of celery. We got some of the little pearl onions right here. They're kind of chives, some chopped up jalapeno peppers. There's probably 3 of them, no seeds. Got some minced onions. That's some frozen that I had as well too. And then we got some fatback. Now you don't have to use fatback if you have an adversity to using pork and pork products. You can use chicken. You can use beef if you want to. You can use turkey. Turkey makes a real good flavor. And because the fatback has got a lot of salt in it, we're not gonna use a lot of salt in here. We're gonna use some onion powder, gonna use some mustard powder, some garlic powder, some dill weed, some oregano, some paprika, some curry powder, some apple cider vinegar, and we are going to use a little bit of cumin as well too. So you want to bring a pot of water to a boil. This is probably I guess it's about 6-quart pot here. Just bring it to a boil. Now we've cut up our fat back, and this is just the cured fat back, which means it's not just packed full of the salt and things like that, but it does have a lot of salt in there. We're going to add that to our boiling water here. Add that in, put all of it in there. Going to bring that back up to a boil, and then we're going to let that boil for about 15-20 minutes. All right, most of the stuff you're going to eyeball here, guys. That hasn't been 20 minutes. We're just going to put some onion salt in there because, again, you're adding onions to it. Just a couple of sprinkles there. Can't really go wrong with it. Gonna get a couple of sprinkles of the mustard here. Again, I'm not doing a certain amount that I'm putting in there. I'll put bunches of dill weed. I like dill weed. It's a good spice here. Gonna put some oregano. We're just gonna pour a little bit of oregano up in there. Gonna do some paprika. Paprika's really good as well too. And again, just put you a small amount in there, not a whole lot. Gonna put, now curry powder you got to be careful with. You don't want to put a whole lot of curry in there unless you just really like the taste of it, but it is overpowering. Gonna put a little bit of cumin, same thing with cumin. Don't put a whole lot because it can be kind of overpowering here. And then we're just gonna add just a small amount of apple cider vinegar here. Maybe 2 tablespoons full, not much. And again, that's all eyeball right there. It's all eyeball. You can go back and taste it and make it the way you want to. Alrighty, we did a rough chop of our celery and our pearl onions here. Alrighty, that's been about 15 minutes or so here. So we're going to add our beans, and this is 1 pound of butter beans right here. And you know you're going to have to bring the water back to a boil again because they were frozen. So, and I can tell you guys, it already smells good just from the cumin and the vinegar that I put in there. It already smells good. I'm going to add our onions and our jalapenos. Also going to add our other celery and our pearl onions in here as well too. There you go. Bring all that stuff back up to a boil. And then once it starts boiling, we're going to let it boil for about 30 minutes or so. And we're going to check it in intervals of 15 minutes. Because you don't want your butter beans to be crunchy. I want mine to be soft. I like for mine to make its own gravy here. So I don't want, if you like yours kind of chewy and crunchy, you cook yours a little bit shorter, but I cook mine a little bit longer. Alrighty, once it comes to a boil, we're going to turn the heat down just a little bit because we want that to simmer for about 30 minutes or so, and then we're going to come back and check it. Alrighty, it's been about 40 minutes because I lost track of time. That's what happens when you start doing other things here. So it's been about 40 minutes, and we're going to stir them up. They smell delicious, but I'm betting that they're not ready to be eaten yet. Okay, they've got a nice flavor, but you know what? They do need some salt in them, so I had to taste it, and we're going to have to add a little bit of salt to that. And we're going to use my favorite salt, my Tony Chachere's here. And it needs a lot, y'all. It hardly has any. Alrighty, the salt did bring out the flavor. I'm going to add just a touch more of vinegar in it too, just to give it that little twang. I'm going to cook it about another 15 minutes or so, guys. I mean, it's nice and tender, but I just think it needs a little bit more flavor. All right, guys, we cooked them for another 15-20 minutes or so, and they are nice and tender now. You can cook them down a little bit more if you want to, but these are pretty good here, and they've got their own little sauce in here, and we're going to taste them, and I know they're going to taste good. All right, we're going to blow these things off. Get my camera set up here good. Blow these things off here. They're nice and hot. Make sure I get me a piece of pork up there with it too. You see that? Very good. The meat's tender. The beans are nice and tender. It's got that little bit of kick from the Tony Chachere's. Taste that cumin, that vinegar. You know, if it wasn't so late, I'd make some cornbread to go with this. This is delicious. You can have this as a meal on its own because, you know, beans are loaded with protein and fiber and things like that. And you've got some meat in there. You've got some vegetables in there. This is really good, guys. It's an easy recipe, just with things that you've got around the house. To try it. Be ready to have some gas tomorrow because beans, good for your heart. The more you eat, the more you fart. Thanks, guys. Peace.